All right, everybody, welcome back. Final run of the day for One-and-Done-athon. We've got Hollow Knight, all charm notches, no major glitches, current patch by Mathulu. I mean, you're the final run. Go ahead and take it away.
All right, thank you. Yep. So we are doing some Hollow Knight here tonight. We let me just talk a little bit about Hollow Knight and why I'm running this kind of crazy sounding category. This is actually a category extension of Hollow Knight, or more fondly known among the community as a meme category. It is a category which has the goal of collecting all of a very particular object in the game, called charm notches. It basically is a well, there's two reasons for this. One is that this allows us to go and do a lot of very fun and specific tasks around the game that you don't often get to see in other categories. In fact, there's almost, I think, literally no mainboard categories that collect all the charm notches, so that was sort of a missing piece and kind of the motivation for the run. But beyond that, this was also a run that kind of sparked a huge new wave of meme categories that have developed for Hollow Knight. And on the mic today with me is one Quacksilver Plays, who has been instrumental in development of that. So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Quacksilver, Hollow Knight speedrunner and goblin who haunts the SRC extension boards for Hollow Knight. All Charm Notches is the labor of love of the pair of Mathulu and I, as well as a couple of other runners. We'll do a long string of shout-outs that about a little under a year ago kickstarted what is now a development of upwards of 70 category extensions in this game, some of which have made it onto speedrun.com, some of which are kept in an unofficial Google spreadsheet that has galvanized the community to find all sorts of ways to play just the stupidly content-rich game that is Hollow Knight.
Yep. All right. I think that is a pretty good introduction. Timing will start on the mode select here, so it'll be when I select one of these, and I think we're about ready to get underway here, so we can start it in 3, 2, 1, start. And yeah, for those who don't know the game Hollow Knight, this game is an absolutely fantastic indie game from a couple of years ago. It's a Metroidvania, and it's an absolutely beautifully put together game. The art style is great. The soundtrack is fantastic. I highly recommend it as a casual game. It was also my first speed game, and one that will probably always be dear to my heart as a result of that. So definitely looking forward to showcasing this for you all.
Yeah, just some basic info as we load into the sort of tutorial area here. As was mentioned, we're running on the current patch of the game. That's a runner preference here. There is some speed tech that is available on earlier patches of the game that we choose to play without. Generally, with category extensions, current patch tends to be more popular, although there is a sizable contingent of 1221 runners, 1221 being the major speed patch of the game. As well as we are running in Chinese because it is the fastest language. We will see actually that matter a lot in this run because Chinese has both fewer text boxes and faster scrolling, and we're going to be spending a lot of time mashing through some text at a couple points in the run.
Yeah, the language matters considerably. It probably saves literally minutes over the course of this run because of just how much text we actually see. So that is one thing that matters quite a bit in a couple of cases. We do need to, if you like me do not speak Chinese or are unable to read it, then you need to memorize certain stag instructions in particular. But luckily, they aren't too complicated.
So we're starting right away here, collecting the first charm of the run. The bulk of the All Charm Notches run is, of course, about charm notches, but there is a shopkeeper in the game that will only give you 4 charm notches based on certain charm benchmarks you hit. So the bulk of the routing for this category is finding 25 of the fastest charms in the game, so that we can get that last charm notch from Salubra, the shopkeeper.
Yeah, and to put that into perspective, there's only 40 charms in the game, so we're getting a clear majority of charms in this run. The run itself is not too long. It'll come in at about an hour, a bit more than an hour RTA. So it's a relatively short run, but we do get to see quite a lot of the game because of that requirement of 25 charms.
Yeah, you saw Matt there just jumping through the base town. There's a slow walk zone, but it only goes up to about the knight's knees, so if you jump all the way through it, you can actually maintain your speed there.
Yeah, to answer a question from chat, I do use controller, as chat is confirming there. So there you saw a bit of tech, which I'll be using only a couple of times throughout this run, which you see a lot more on earlier patches of the game. It's called an inventory drop. It turns out when you open your inventory in this game, it uncaps your fall speed. However, you can't open it mid-air, which is the bane of current patch runners' existence. In previous patches, you could just open it in mid-air and save a lot of time like that. We have to open it the physics frame that we step off a ledge, so there will be a few of them that I attempt. Some of them I'll make, some of them I won't, but it's not a huge time save over the course of the run.
Yeah, and there we actually got pretty lucky. So the very first leg of this run is we're collecting some Geo, this game's currency, to open up a stag station, which is this game's sort of fast travel waypoint system. And we need 50 Geo to open this first stag, and the Aspid combat arena that Math was just in, the Geo has a tendency to scatter, as well as there is a tendency for the Geo counting, specifically coming out of that room, to bug sometimes and not adequately count your Geo. So we love seeing 52 or more, just in case.
Yes, indeed, yeah. Yeah, that counting error is kind of a problem. You essentially just want to be counting yourself, so that you know exactly how much you're supposed to have rather than relying on the in-game count. It's good in the previous two rooms, but if you go through the loading zone while it's still adding up, it can cause some problems. So you can leave at 40 plus 10 and walk into the next room at 49 and, you know, feel a little bit scammed. So you'll notice I'm taking some intentional damage tanks here. That's to set up Fury of the Fallen, which is the first charm that we picked up. This increases our damage when we're on 1 health, so it's a little bit dangerous of a charm to be using. But this fight is a pretty consistent one, so we go ahead and use it here. And I got the good cycle, so you can afford to miss one of those hits and still make the cycle before False Knight is able to hit you. If you miss 2, then you'll have to back away or risk getting hit and dying. But optimally, obviously, you miss 0 and save a bit of time there. So this has been a pretty good first split, actually.
Yeah. For those of you familiar with Hollow Knight, you may know there's a dev-intended shortcut that lets you exit the False Knight fight early if you so choose. We ignore that shortcut partially because this is a very Geo-heavy speedrun, and we want the Geo, and also the City Crest item that False Knight drops only if you kill him is a part of our routing for this category.
Yep. Yeah, so kind of a good combination of uses there for killing False Knight, which is always nice. All right. Yeah, so this has been a pretty decent first segment here. So we're picking up an item here, which is our first spell of the game. This is the Fireball. This is the upgraded version of this spell is going to be our main damage source for most of the run. For now, we only have the base version, but we'll be basically rushing that upgraded version as soon as we can get it.
Yeah, and the after you get the Fireball, or Vengeful Spirit as the game formally calls it, you'll probably hear us use Fireball VS and Vengeful Spirit interchangeably. The game locks you in a little tutorial area that proves that you know how to actually use it by giving you the Elder Balder, which is an enemy that can only be killed, with some asterisks, with 4 fireballs to the face. The Knight's soul gauge in the top left corner contains enough soul for 3 fireballs, so we need some help from the Balder, who has a 50-50 chance on every spit to help us or not. We got a first spit. Nice.
Wow, we even got a little bonus Balder there. So this bonus Balder here is actually unironically useful because the next segment is going to be one where we need to collect some soul. So that's a little bit less soul that I need to get. Here I'm going to be doing something which is known as overcharming. If you played this game casually, you might not know that this is possible, but if you just attempt to put on an extra charm enough times, the game will let you do it. But if you're overcharmed, you'll take twice as much damage. So you saw me set up the Overcharm and then take Fury off here. That's because I want to not have to deal with that Overcharming animation later, but also I don't want to have to take double damage in Green Path because I can't reset this run, actually, believe it or not.
So we got one more Balder coming up here, so last chance to get ruined by RNG. The world record for single spit Balders is 18 spits without a good one, but alright, Matt, getting lucky.
Yeah. First spit into second spit, we'll take that absolutely any day of the week. Also, Quack, you'll get a little bit of a kick out of this. That VS was actually a gold.
Nice.
Which is kind of hilarious, but yep. All right, so now
so Green Path. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna basically just give a little bit of an intro into this area, which is one. It's kind of the bane of a lot of the run, actually. Green Path is a pain of pretty much any category that has to actually go all the way to dash, which unfortunately is nearly all of them. The main reason for that is what I'm about to do here, which is a fireball skip. Nice, we got it. Okay, so these skips are a bit harder than they look. They're actually some of the more tricky skips in the run, and they save a significant amount of time. That first one especially saves about 10 seconds. Over the backup. If you don't do the backup, then it's terrible. That was where I was supposed to do the second one, but I unfortunately jumped a little late, so I was off the ledge by the time I tried. But we have a little bit of a backup there with this pogo, so we actually don't lose too much time on that one.
With the pogo with the contentious name, I prefer the term dude pogo because it's a dude and you pogo him.
Yep, that's always a good one. Oops. All right. If you get 3 fireballs here, then a single nail hit and 3 fireballs will kill. I got a little bit too close for comfort there. There's a setup where if you stand basically right next to that Moss Knight there, then you can basically manipulate its AI to jump backwards. Unfortunately, I got a little too close, so we took the damage instead. But not a big deal. This is why we don't overcharm Green Path.
Yep. And enjoyers of the neglect achievement will be pleased to know that we're walking underneath a boss that we're going to be ignoring that has a trigger that permanently kills an NPC. If you ignore it, that NPC is Zote the Mighty, a knight of great renown, and we don't feel like saving his life, so we're just going to walk on over to a stag station here.
Yes, but if you do have a hankering for Zote-related categories, let me tell you, there is no shortage of them. We have categories that die to the Vengefly that is eating Zote. We have a category that gets Zote in Colosseum as quickly as possible. We have a category that kills Grey Prince Zote as quickly as possible. We have a category that, among other things, does 4 levels of Grey Prince Zote. So there's a category for everything. So whatever your persuasion, you are gonna find a home here.
All right, this is the first major boss of the run. It's slightly nicer since we're not overcharmed and in Fury here, but this is Hornet. I'm personally rooting for a glitch where she gets stuck in the floor. We'll see if it happens. Looks like we're going to avoid Flornet today.
Yeah,
side betters beware.
Tragic, absolutely tragic. All right, so there's the Hornet fight. This ability we're picking up here is the dashing ability. It is probably the single most useful piece of equipment that we're going to find in terms of speed. Not in terms of access, that'll be the next thing that we get. Also, we didn't mention this before when I used it. You'll notice from time to time throughout this run, I will actually quit out to the main menu. When you do that, it saves everything that you've picked up or opened or done, but it actually returns you to your last bench. So we use that for routing a couple of times. In this case, I don't have to walk all the way back through Green Path. I can just quit right back to that bench, which we actually didn't even need to sit on in order to get our save set there conveniently. We do sit on it in this run, but it is not necessary.
Fortunately, that tutorial area after VS hard saves you anyway, so your bench is set there whether you sit or not. Now we're into the fungal waste, and at long last we are going to pick up our first additional charm notch of the run. You start with 3. The all charm notches run gets all of them, so we will end the run with 11. And despite spending a curious amount of this run over charmed anyway, this one here in fungal waste is the earliest one to pick up. A lot of runs pick it up for comfort as much as anything else. Also gives us a nice complement of Geo from these Shroomel Ogres.
Yep. Yeah, this one is a pretty convenient one. It is picked up in a lot of categories, including the max completion categories. It's a quick one to grab, and having extra charm notches, which I guess we should probably talk a little bit about what those are. The entire run is centered around getting them. Charm notches give you more slots to equip those charms that we're going to be picking up throughout the run. So essentially they're equipment slots, and you have a maximum of 11 of them. Because of the overcharming mechanic, we frequently will play with more charms than we're supposed to have at that point, but we do eventually get enough charms or enough charm notches to field a good slate of charms.
We just walked through a room there. There is a tech that Mathulu was a developer on for basically every speedrun in Hollow Knight, except for all charm notches.
Yep.
Those familiar with E-Pogo, Math was instrumental in labbing out an explosion pogo unique to current patch, dubbed Comfy Pogo. But this speedrun, almost uniquely among speedruns that will pick up the wall jump ability, does not actually do it. Instead, we're walking right on by to quickly pick up this charm here, Dash Master, which is arguably the most self-explanatory charm in the game.
Very true. Yeah, you'll notice even with this tiny little short walk back here, it's actually still faster to quit out from this. So that just saves us like a couple of seconds from having to walk back. So now you'll see there's a, let's dunk an acid first. There's a bit of a difference in my dashing speed here. I can suddenly dash significantly more frequently. That's why we picked this charm up so early on. We have it equipped for actually quite a lot of this run. Fundamentally, this doesn't save time in categories like any %, but it is very useful in a category where we need to pick up 25 charms anyway, and we also don't ever, oh, shoot.
Oh, almost got the save.
Yeah. Tragic. Ah, you're too low. Okay, I'll have to go around. Unfortunate there. That is a bit of fairly difficult tech known as Mantis Pogo. These mantises can unfortunately sometimes be a bit obnoxious as they were there, but it's not too bad.
Well, unfortunately, one of the biggest consequences of us coming around, if you do the explosion pogo in several other speedruns, you'll come into this room from the top, and there is a relatively consistent lure for the mantises based on their AI that can get you up that gap pretty smoothly. But coming from the right from Dash Master, you lure an extra mantis, and they bump into each other all the time, and it's very, very hard to get a consistent mantis pogo.
Yep. Yeah, there probably is one that could be labbed out, but because this is basically the only category that needs to come in from that direction, it has not been to this point, at least to my knowledge.
Yeah. This room features a trick simply called Doing the Thing. I think this was because of trying to remind Math to do it in speedruns of this. That was it just there. You can skip sort of one bit of parkour in that little thorn gauntlet by going underneath it, and that's Doing the Thing. And now we've used the city crest and we're into the City of Tears.
Yes, thank you, Quack, for reminding me to do the thing. I do appreciate that. Let's actually not die here.
Yeah.
So you'll notice one additional benefit of that Dash Master charm we picked up is we actually can now down dash as well. This is rarely used, but there are a couple of places where it ends up being pretty useful. It saves just a tiny bit of time. More often than not, though, it is a bit of a pain because you'll down dash when you mean to dash to the side or vice versa. These guys are being a bit annoying, but that's okay.
Yeah, and actually to talk a little bit about the differences between the current patches, since we're talking about Dashmaster, there are now two, because of a surprise recent set of updates to Hollow Knight, there are now two sets of patches, 1.4 and 1.5, well, 1.4.3.2 and later, and 1.5 patches that are valid current patch, and Dashmaster was changed between them, rather. So you can, on one set, you will accidentally down dash, and on the other set, which is the 1.5 that Math is playing on, you will accidentally side dash when you mean to down dash. So it's a pick your poison sort of deal.
Yeah, exactly. Now, in the no major glitches categories, down dashing with Dashmaster isn't super essential. It's very rarely used in a crucial way. Usually it just saves a tiny bit of time. In glitch categories, that is a very different question, because there are some glitches which place you in a state where you are either floating or stuck somewhere above where you need to be, and down dashing is one of the few ways to actually get down from there. So glitch runners do like the old version of Dashmaster, which made it easier to down dash, where a side dash there would potentially break your run. But NMG runners tend to prefer the version where you mostly side dash.
Yeah, and Hollow Knight is, I think, somewhat unique among especially speed games of its size, in that far and away the most popular glitch rule set is NMG. There is a dedicated contingent of glitch runners, but because of just how broken the game is, and I think something about the allure of like playing a Metroidvania kind of as intended and fast, NMG dwarfs it in popularity.
Absolutely. And so for this segment, I will be focusing just a little bit more than usual. This is Soul Sanctum, which is also known as one of the most frustrating areas in the game to speedrun. All of the major enemies in this area randomly teleport. Why am I going up the left side of this wall here? And they can teleport.
Wiggle.
Yes. Oh yeah, I didn't even call it out. Yeah, you can sneak in to the side between the elevator and the wall there. But only on the actual most current of current patches of the game, not on the old current patch. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's fine.
Wow, the body blocks. Yeah, so this is probably the worst single room, especially if you're not looking at like speed tech or anything, because there are 3 soul twisters and they can just bully you.
Absolutely, and you saw me get a bit bullied there, but I was lucky enough to get hit to the left when they hit me. If they had hit me to the right, then it could have been a bit of a problem.
Yeah.
All right, but I'll take that. That was a perfectly acceptable sanctum there.
Yeah, and the boss at the end here, the Soul Master, is probably easier than the room before it.
Yes.
He does teleport, and so it is hard to kill him fast. What Math is looking to do here is set up double hits with the fireball. You still can get one there on the sort of cross-screen charging attack. You can also get them on teleports. Your nail, base nail, does 5 damage per swing, and your base Vengeful Spirit does 15 damage. So spell damage, like Math alluded to earlier, is going to be absolutely critical for this run. We're going to be upgrading our spell damage in 2 very important ways relatively quickly here.
Oh, come on. Okay, that was fun. Yeah, so, as Quack mentioned, you mostly want to focus on as much spell damage as possible. We are actually, at no point in this run, going to upgrade our nail. The nail will stay at its base damage, which is 5 damage per hit. Our spells, when fully upgraded, the fireball will deal 40. So it is all about how many fireballs you can cast, and you don't really worry about the nail at all.
And will not only deal 40, but will often double hit for 80 damage. So it's a little bit of an important distinction. And there's Soul Master's second phase. He just spams dive and then sits obediently in one spot waiting to die. And with that, we will pick up our second spell, which is the Desolate Dive. It's a ground slam ability. It is incredibly useful in 2 important ways. 1, it breaks breakable floors, which we're going to need for this run. And 2, it gives you a healthy amount of iframes. So we're going to use that liberally as well when necessary.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so this spell is actually not necessary to acquire all of the charm notches, but it does help us get so many extra charms that it does end up being faster. Also, there's a lot of money to be had, and as we'll see throughout the run, money is a bit of a theme. These follies are not behaving.
Wow.
Okay. I have no idea how the dive didn't hit them at first. I'm going to go ahead and heal because I don't want to.
And we're remembering Sanctum Seal. Let's go. So a little bit earlier in the run, we were talking about Dashmaster at the time, but Matt visited a shopkeeper, relic dealer Lem, and sold a relic that he had just picked up for some extra cash. We're going to need so much money because it follows logically that the fastest way to get charms when you can do so is to buy them from shops. Of the 40 charms in the game, there are 13 that are available in shops. We're going to buy all of them, and so we need something like 7,000 geo by the end of the run, and it's just most economical to grab relics. We will be visiting Lem again much later in the run.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so we get a couple of quick geo sources from chests that are nearby, but almost all of our geo will come from relics, and we're going to collect an astronomical number of them, more than you'll see in just about any other run that isn't a run that focuses entirely on relics, because believe it or not, we have those too.
We have those too. We also have a run that is exclusively about farming for 36,000 geo.
That is a
this movement. That is a good just chatting stream. I mean, run. This movement is a little bit technical. We're trying to get on the side of all those platforms with the wall jump because to avoid getting sniped. That was pretty clean room movement. Talk a little bit about Crystal Peak. The next area that Math is going to visit, Crystal Peak, there are two ways to access it. There is Desolate Dive, which we fortunately already got. You can also get the Lumafly Lantern from a shopkeeper in Dirtmouth that the any percent speedrun of the game, for instance, gets because it's faster in a vacuum for any percent. The main reason we get Dive is because Dive is geo-positive to get into peaks, whereas Lantern costs a sizable 1,800 geo, and we do not have the time or money for that sort of thing.
Oops. I always forget that this wall actually doesn't extend as far as it seems. That wall is always a bit of a pain. But yes, Dive, that is one of the reasons why Dive ends up actually being useful for this run, is just how much money it saves you. So we won't ever pick up the Lumafly Lantern in this run. Luckily, we don't really do any dark rooms though either. We don't do any dark rooms, do we?
No dark rooms, which is why it's Quacksilver certified category.
Yeah, we used to do a dark room. We used to do the dark room leading up to Joni's Blessing, which is one of the more difficult dark rooms in the game. But we don't do it anymore because it turns out that that is actually a bit slower than a much easier charm to get, which is Spore Shroom, and we'll get that very late in the run.
Yeah. Math also declining to go there for a trick that is also nerfed on current patch, very hard to get, called Pog Axe, dubiously named after a speedrunner in the community, Axe to you.
Not actually named. Let's make sure we don't have too much Axe disinfo here, but yeah.
But yeah, it saves about 6 seconds, or it saves, about 6 seconds and loses sizably more than that to mess it up and have to go for it multiple times, so we're just gonna walk around.
Absolutely.
We also picked up a key there in the middle room of Crystal Peak that will let us buy another key that will grant us access to the upgraded Fireball in a little bit.
I missed this, and I also don't have enough for a dive. Unfortunate.
Yeah, that drop there is one of the only drops at this point in the run where inventory dropping saves a fair chunk of time.
Yes, indeed. It's not too bad normally if you have Soul for a dive because there's a nice... I mean, basically diving is faster than falling, so it's a nice bit of a backup, but you can see I have just under the required amount. Here I'm going for a trick that's called Underplat, very self-explanatory.
We got Underplat. Most important swag strat in the run.
That saves almost nothing, and you should go for it every single time. It's not too hard of a trick, but it looks great.
I used to never go for it, and then I lied to everyone for a solid couple weeks and claimed that it was made easier on 1.5. A couple people believed me.
Let's see where this Glenback is. Oh, we got the good RNG. So this one can
Nice.
spawn basically in your face and you get hit immediately, or it can spawn really far away and you're completely fine. We got the.
You also
the
just
good RNG.
yeah, we picked up the super dash ability, the Crystal Heart.
Oh, we should talk
that is
about that. Huh?
that is our major skip engine for this run. Also gives you infinite horizontal movement until you collide with something. This is a very pretty cycle room, getting through some of these laser bugs with Crystal Heart and the use of Dash Master. That was a good defocus cycle.
Yeah, I will take that any day of the week. All right. So yeah, we're almost done with Crystal Peak. One thing that's really fun about this run is that you get to do these things that you don't really do in any other categories. No category gets Crystal Dash and then turns around and gets Deep Focus. Even full completion categories like 112% come back much later for Deep Focus, but we will not be returning beyond the very entrance of this area at all in this run.
First try.
First try, second try, it's fine.
Exactly. So much like the Watcher Knights fight, if you're familiar perhaps with the any percent speedrun or one of a number of mainboard speedruns that do that, you can pogo off a background object to get up to that King's Idol there without needing the double jump ability.
Yep, that saves, well, it saves us mostly the trouble of ever having to get double jump here. Wow, I actually got this.
Nice.
Excuse me?
That's a very tight, like, couple pixel window to get above the platform but below the spikes there. Props to you.
I will absolutely take that.
We also just opened an elevator there and then save quit immediately. We're going to be using that elevator much later. Don't even worry about it.
So now we're finally going over to Salubra, who will be a very important vendor for us. Salubra sells charm notches, and we're going to get the first of them right now. The reason that we get this one early... Did I miss the fireball? Why did that take so long? The reason that we get this one early... Why did I heal? Is that we actually need 5 notches in order to have Grimchild on later. Sorry, I'm trying to focus here on one of the best.
That counts.
Yes. I will take it.
It turns out that the release animation of Crystal Heart does 10 damage, which is just enough to kill those Gruzzers, so it is the second most important swag strat in the run. You can also clean them up with dive or several fireballs.
Yes, yeah, I absolutely love that cleanup. It is much faster than having to use spells to kill them. And if you're very lucky, you can actually get all of them with a single blast of C-Dash. But unfortunately, we had one left alive, but very quick to fix.
Easy cleanup. So yes, nice. We also saved Sly, so we've now met almost all of the shopkeepers we're going to be interacting with. We passed one by in Fungal Waste we'll get back to later. You rescue Sly there so he can show up in Dirtmouth later, and he will also have, I think, 4 charms that we'll buy much later when we're flush with cash.
Absolutely, yep. Yeah, that is also a very important vendor for us. You'll notice that when we were in Crystal Peaks, we picked up an item which is the Shopkeeper's Key. That actually, the reason that we picked that up is one, for a couple of charms, or maybe only one that hides behind it, Sprint Master at least. But more importantly, it also holds the Elegant Key, which is the key to our Fireball upgrade. So that is another reason that we save Sly at this point in the run. You'll also notice we bought the Shaman Stone charm while we were at Salubra. That is going to be a very crucial piece of equipment for us throughout this run because Shaman Stone increases your spell damage, in particular your fireball damage, by... Oops, that's fine. By
Dreamplats.
Yes, good old Dreamplats. By 33%. So instead of 15 damage, it will deal 20, and once we upgrade, it will deal 40. So... that's a pretty important thing. All right.
It
let me
also
just not
increases the
fall.
size. Yeah, it also increases the size of your fireballs, so it drastically increases the chances that they double. It is not an understatement to say Shaman Stone is far and away the most important charm when in Hollow Knight speedrunning. And if you are looking for advice to make your casual playthrough easier, to get into speedrunning, anything of that sort, buy and equip Shaman Stone. It makes your life easier. Just full stop.
Here you'll see a little bit of quote-unquote not a major glitch here, where we pause to get early control and C-dash out of that room so we don't have to sit through the waking up animation. If we could see behind the screen, you would see that we actually get control while invisible, but don't tell the SRC mods that.
It's a playfully minor glitch.
Yes. Saves only a tiny bit of time.
Yeah, we also, prior to that, obviously picked up the Dream Nail ability in runs that beat the game. That is absolutely critical. That's how you get the Dreamers, which are the main story progression in this game, all locked behind Dream Nail. You can't get a game ending without Dream Nail. Fortunately, we're not getting a game ending today. However, we do need it to start the Grim Quest.
Yes, and that is why we pick it up then and immediately go to start the Grim Quest next. So the Grim Quest, for those of you who have played this game casually, is absolutely one of my favorite parts of the game. I think it's really beautiful that we do so much of the Grim Quest in this game, or in this run rather. Despite really only needing a few things. So Grim holds a charm notch very crucially, which is why we have to do most of his quest. We won't be completing it. We leave that to the likes of the Nightmare King Grim % category, but we do have to fight the first level of Grim, which is Troop Master Grim. So you get treated to some of the best music in the game, although Quack may fight me on that point.
It's some very good music. I'll give it that. Yeah, the Grim Quest is interesting because it dictates so much of the routing for basically any category it's in. The way the Grim Quest works is we're going to light this lantern here, and then Grim is going to give us his kid to babysit. Getting the Giarok Bogo?
Nope.
I believe.
Hey, we got it. Saves so much time with that. Let's go.
What are we up to? The third most important swag strat? So the Grim Quest, we're going to babysit the Grim child for a while, and then we have to do, in this run 2, if you're going to Nightmare King Grim, then it's 3 sets of 3 flames that are guarded by enemies that spawn in basically a giant scavenger hunt across the map. And you have to clear out one entire tier of Grimkin before you can move on to the next. So you have to route in certain areas in a certain order in order to efficiently complete the Grim Quest. So especially in runs that are like that you have to go to areas multiple times anyway, figuring out your Grim routing is sort of a centerpiece of the runs.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so this is a run whose routing is mostly dictated by the Grim Quest, and everything else essentially just falls to which extra charms do we need to get that aren't essentially just on the route of the Grim Quest. So everything we've picked up so far charm-wise has been pretty much just in our path. You'll see us go out of the way at the very end of the run for just a couple of charms. All right, but we're gonna pick up Grimchild here, and we'll be meeting Grim for the first time, so get ready, because it's quite the grand introduction.
He is one majestic bat pufferfish demon.
Unfortunately, we will be skipping absolutely all of this dialogue, obviously, but we did get Grimchild here.
Yeah, between Grim and the shopkeepers we've seen so far, I hope it is already apparent why Chinese save so much time in this run.
Yes, and it will become even more apparent when we finally cash in on all the relics that we're picking up.
Only gets worse from here. All right, so we are coming up to one of the scariest parts of the run, no pressure. There is a charm notch that's just sitting in a room in Fog Canyon that the game really wants you to have at least 1, maybe 2 movement abilities that we don't have to access, but we're going to do an acid skip in order to get it. We're actually going to do 2, 1 to access Fog Canyon, and then a second to actually get the Fog Canyon charm notch. The most common form of acid skip is you'll see Math in this room position himself right above the acid on the wall and crystal dash across. That's a very clean acid skip. The second one's a fair bit harder.
I'll go ahead and heal heal early here. You'll also notice us pick up a couple of relics along the way. This is just for money later. All right, so here is the room with the second of the acid skips, and this one is considerably more difficult.
Nice.
And we did get it. Now, I have to be careful not to die.
Yeah, everything in this room deals double damage, by the way.
Yes.
Almost
and
everything.
if we dunk in the acid at any point, even after the skip, then actually we get respawned at the beginning of the room. So that was a very clean Fog Canyon Charm Notch. I'm definitely happy with that first try.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll take it. That is a pretty difficult skip. There's only very specific parts of that wall that you can actually sit on. It'll basically just slide you off if you are a little bit too high or a little bit too low there.
Yeah, finicky geometry is sort of the name of the game with acid skips. There's one more later in the run that is somehow even more finicky. But now it's time to get our upgraded fireball. We're gonna go get Shade Soul. It's guarded by another Soul Warrior, slightly more difficult than the one we fought earlier in Sanctum, and also spawns in some flying enemies to complicate the fight a bit, but it's not too bad ultimately, as long as you're not doing it overcharmed. Shoutouts to the Nightmare King Grim run.
Yes, I don't envy that run, not gonna lie about that. Yeah, luckily we have 5 health here, and hopefully that won't prove too little. So you'll notice, again, we're going for doubles. Astute viewers may notice that we're getting more doubles than we got when we fought this guy earlier. The reason for that is Shaman Stone. As Quack mentioned earlier, we actually have a bigger hitbox. That was a pretty decent fight, actually. We have a bigger hitbox with the Shaman Stone charm equipped for our fireballs, and that helps quite a lot when we're looking to get doubles. So very, very helpful. And this is the upgraded spell ability that I have been alluding to the entire run. All of a sudden, our fireballs, instead of dealing 20, will deal 40, a full 8 times as much as our nail. So everything from this point on will be all about fireball management.
Yep. To clarify some things in chat about the difference between charms and notches, and so this run is only tasked with getting all of the charm notches. There are 25 charms we need to acquire to do that, and not one more. We're going to be buying a lot of charms. There's actually a variant of this category that disallows buying charms from shops, but all charms is not as well tread a run. Oh, careful. All right, we got him.
Yeah, we're fine. I'll bench here again just to be absolutely safe here. You'll notice that I actually am overcharmed now, so each of those hits dealt 2 damage instead of 1. This is a relatively safe segment to be overcharmed in, but I will be taking off the extra charm after that.
And in true Hollow Knight fashion, there's typically a UI indicator that's a little purple glow around your masks, but oftentimes if you save quit and then immediately overcharm, and by oftentimes I mean upwards of 90% of the time, it'll break. And even though he doesn't look it, Math is overcharmed right now.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think literally every time we overcharm is immediately after a quit out, so we never get to see when we're overcharmed by looking at the UI, but rest assured, if you see me get hit and I take twice as much damage as you're expecting, it's because I was overcharmed.
Nice, clean kill.
Yeah, so here we're going to be going through a few of the first level of Grimkin that we need to fight. That was 2 out of the 3, and we're about to go for the 3rd.
One of the major reasons that we don't upgrade our nail in this or a lot of speedruns is a lot of enemies in the game scale in health with your nail upgrades, and Grimkin are one of the biggest offenders of this. They usually don't scale 1-to-1 with your nail upgrades, but since most of our damage is coming from spells and not our nail, any amount of upgraded health will change some of the quick kills, make them impossible. In particular, again, Grimkin are the biggest offender of this. We can kill all of the Grimkin we need to kill in this run with 1 double hit Shade Soul optimally, so there's no point in getting a nail upgrade and ruining that.
Yes, indeed, yeah. And it's as close as it gets. The tier 2 Grim can have exactly 80 health, so we need precisely 2 Shade Soul hits to kill them. You can get that with a single cast if you're lucky, or require 2 if you're unlucky. You'll notice that I am getting 2 casts worth of soul on the way down here, and the reason for that is exactly to kill like that.
Nice. All right, we got good Grimkin luck with tier 1. Let's hope it keeps up.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the tier 2 Grim can get a little bit more hairy. They're in, well, the KP one is fine, but the 2 out of the 3 are in situations where you really don't want to be taking a lot of damage, and if you get the runaround from them, it can be painful. So, all right.
Yep.
So here we're going to go upgrade our Grimchild. We've collected 3 flames, which is what's required for each level of the Grimchild. After you collect 3 flames, you need to return and go talk to Troop Master Grim once again. That is what we're off to do. Yeah, as mentioned, the Grim fight is in this run. In fact, it's the very last thing that we do. So everything else that we're doing collecting flames along the way, and once we're done with that, we get to come back and fight Grim. So it's very convenient. We get to do it with all but 1 of the notches, but believe it or not, we'll still be overcharmed.
Because of course we will. Because it's always good to fit on more charms. More charms are better. That's what I hear. Late Grim is also a very recent reroute. It was theorized to be faster for a while, but Hollow Knight uses an auto splitter and is timed loadless on PC. And for a long while, we could not figure out how to get a split on the charm notch for Grim that would end the run. So shout outs to all of the Hollow Knight auto splitter devs, Flibserp and Slorent, for making the fast reroute possible with the tech we have.
Yes, yeah, it was long theorized when we didn't have the split, but we decided, you know, it's probably not worth. And in some testing since then, we have now decided that it is indeed faster to fight Grim last, which is a more exciting end to the run as well. So I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd end the run just mashing through shop text.
Yes, which is what we did for most of this run's history. Oops,
What my PB still does.
Quacky got to run it back. Ooh,
Apparently.
my,
So
spell button was struggling there.
we're going to get our last charm of the run that we will actually equip, if I'm not mistaken. Here, it's Soul Eater. We picked up Soul Catcher right at the beginning of the game. Soul Eater is Soul Catcher of gargantuan proportions. It massively increases the amount of soul we get per nail swing, but it costs a whopping 4 charm notches. So this bad boy is the reason we're going to be overcharmed for most of the scary bits in this run.
Yeah, this is one of the best charms in the game. However, it is also one of the most expensive charms in the game to wear. That is not damage that you want to take, but that's okay.
We got a safety bench, it's fine.
Yeah, it'll be all right. Okay, so this is a little bit of a detour here to go catch our next Grimkin. This one is one that can be a bit painful because of the area where it likes to hang out.
Yeah, and that big enemy on the ground there, again, deals 2 masks of damage, so good kiting there.
Yep, so you want to be very careful not to get hit by that one. And luckily, we were able to get both Shade Soul hits in, so we didn't lose too much time to that.
All right, coming up is the defining skip of all charm notches. It is appropriately named ACN skip, or Kingdom's Edge Acid Skip. It's actually one of a couple variants of Acid Skips in Kingdom's Edge, but it is by far the scariest. It is basically the Fog Canyon charm notch skip leveled up. We're going to be looking to exploit some very perverse geometry after collecting one more Grim Flame here to try and skip having to walk all the way around the bottom of Kingdom's Edge. If you're starting out in this category, which I highly recommend, by the way, you can just walk around. It costs about 40 seconds to do so, but we're going to go for it here.
Yep, absolutely. And we'll give it quite a few attempts, I think, probably a couple of lives of attempts, so we'll hopefully not need that, but we will go ahead and see. This skip is one of the hardest acid skips in the game, but also one of the very fun reasons to run this category. I kind of really like this skip, as difficult as it is, because it's, I don't know, it's there's something charming about it.
Making it, wait, I shouldn't open my mouth. Making it look easy.
Let's go. Okay, so that is the first try on that, and yeah, I can definitely be happy with that. Now we need to make sure we don't die anywhere between here and the Coliseum of Fools, which is the next thing we're off to do. So
Yeah,
if
and
we die
unfortunately,
between
that acid skip does not end the pain of this split.
it does not at all. So luckily, it is by far the worst part of this split, but there is still an entire Kingdom's Edge to go through, rife with primal aspids and hoppers. In particular, one great hopper that we're about to go come face to face with as we try to get the idol that it's hiding. So this can be a bit
bullied.
of a pain. Okay, good. Bullied, but like after I picked up the idol.
I was about to say, that's pretty much optimal. It's very, very possible for that Great Hopper to hit you before you pick up the idol, which locks you out of picking it up, and he's still stomping around for a while. Getting damaged after you pick up the idol actually just saves you some time from the animation. So that was about as good as it could go.
Yeah, I can definitely be very happy with that idol pickup. In all of my practice runs, I've been getting trolled by that guy, to the point where I was jokingly talking about routing this idol out of the category entirely so that I wouldn't have to deal with it. Okay, my spell button is kind of struggling at the moment. My right bumper not fully working here. Oh, sound warning to those in chat. If you're using headphones, this will be a bit loud. I want to warn you now. Take them out, turn it down, something like that. There's a bit of a scream.
Yeah, there's a volume bug in this game, and Pale Lurker screams.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but just, you know, thought I would give you a nice little warning there.
And for that, she has earned the moniker Angry Yoshi.
Alrighty, so now we get to do what is a very, very fun part of the run, at least in my opinion. It is an overcharmed Coliseum of Fools with nail 0 and only the base number of health, which is 5 health. So I can only take 3 hits before I die here, so it's a very dangerous situation to be in. Optimally, I'll take 0 hits, but we'll see how it goes. The reason that we're overcharmed here is to maximize the number of fireballs that we can cast by wearing both Spell Twister and Soul Eater. It's almost a 1-to-1 ratio of nail swings to spell casts, and that is ideal. Doesn't quite get to be 1-to-1, but it gets very close.
Yep. And so the Coliseum of Fools is very much about just memorizing where the waves spawn, what their movement patterns are likely to be, and in particular, everything that you're going to see in this colo will die in at maximum 2 Shade Soul casts, or 1 Shade Soul double. So judiciously placing fireballs, like you see with this Spike Balder wave, is the name of the game. Now, when I say 2 Shade Soul casts, I do mean most things in this Coliseum have between 65 and 80 HP. So the reason we've got all these spell charms on is because we really don't want to be scrapping with our nail here if we can avoid it.
Yep. Especially some of these waves, primal aspids, things like that. If you want to kill them with your nail, it will take you 7 nail swings, which is not a good time at all. Yeah, okay. I need to like press this button harder because it's starting to die on me. That's okay though.
We got this.
Good.
We're gonna load up on Soul here. There's a mini-boss sort of halfway through the Coliseum that is the Benchfly King, which we skipped to let Zote die much, much earlier in the run, but he's kind of made of paper.
Ah, dang it. It dropped a fireball, but that's okay.
He's mostly made of paper. There he goes.
Yeah, luckily there's a quick kill there where you basically just cast 3 fireballs, but one of them didn't quite come out in time. Oh. There we go.
Nice. Yeah, in the second half of Calo, after Vengefly King, they start spawning double waves of everything. They try to keep 2 enemies in the fight with you. But fortunately, that 2 enemies at once means you can do more damage per Shade Soul. So that's quick work of that. Then there's a couple waves of individual spike boulders. Then we're going to move pretty quickly to the final boss of Colosseum, which is the most scary part for Overcharming in this run. Aftermath deals with these infected Grezzers. We're going to have to fight 2 Grezmothers. For some reason, their contact hitboxes are like 150% the size they are in the Grezmother fight in the overworld, but never any doubt. Easy call.
Never a doubt in the world. Never a doubt at all. Yeah, so you saw there, I didn't take any hits at all up to the Grezmothers, and then we took a couple of hits there. With the Overcharming, 2 hits from those Grezmothers brought me down to 1 HP. So that's the scary part of Overcharming this section, but at the end of the day, we did in fact get it. So this is nearing the end of the run now. We have a few minutes left where we do a bit of cleanup, and then we will be fighting Troopmaster Grimm, and that will be the grand finale.
Yeah, and fortunately for everyone's sanity, there are not too many places to take damage here, but picking up a Charm Notch in the overworld does heal you to full, so you will always be at full health walking out of Kalos, so there's much less likelihood that you randomly die. It would be a shame for someone to get a good Kalo and then accidentally fall in spikes on the walk up to this stag and die.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely, the fact that Charm Notch's heal is used a couple of times in this run to much of our benefit. The first time is where we pick up the Shroomo Ogre's Notch. That's very useful to have a little bit of a heal there, especially if you're overcharmed beforehand. And the Colosseum is even more important. In the 100% completion categories of this game, it's even better because you go immediately into the second Colosseum after the first. So if you manage to take some damage in the first one, you really don't want to have to carry that health into the second. Unfortunately, you do not get such a heal between 2 and 3. Where am I going?
We're going back to Shade Soul.
Let's do some Shade Soul again, guys.
Let's do Shade Soul again. All right, now for this chat, I'm going to need all of your energy. We're about to visit Lem again. We have 10 relics. We need to sell them. Math is on record as saying that mashing is one of his weakest areas in speedrunning. So we need to spirit bomb this mash so that we can sell all 10 relics, end up with a very nice amount of geo, hopefully. We're looking for just shy of 7K. So in just a moment, we're going to end up at Lem. We want to see 1, 5, and 4. 1 Wanderer's Journal, 5 Hallownest Seals, and 4 King's Idols. Here we go.
1 Wanderer's Journal, 5 Hallownest Seals here, and we're going to be mashing a bit there, but you can see the 4 King's Idols just underneath it. So now we sit and we mash.
Go, 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 go.
Let's go. We can do it. We can do it.
I'm pretty
This
sure
is the hardest part of the run.
Agree to disagree. This is, however, I think the most selling to Lem in one shopping trip outside of All Unbreakable Charms, which is the run that just grinds for like 36,000 geo.
Yes, and you can see just how much text we have to view. If that was in English, it would literally take an entire extra minute. Not exaggerating. So.
And sure enough, we've wound up with an excellent and also nice geo value. So now let's do some shopping, I believe.
No, now is Glowing Womb.
Right, this is the most recent set of reroutes. So we're gonna get Glowing Womb and then do some shopping, actually quite a bit of shopping, and then finish with Grimm.
And we do have a nice amount of geos, so we are in good shape here. All right, so you'll notice I'm still overcharmed here. This arena is not too difficult with Shade Soul, but it can spiral out of control. So hopefully it doesn't do that to me today, but we will find out. Oops, don't want to be missing that. All right, I'll just kill this one. Ah, no. The fireballs. Yeah, it's like not consistent for me right now.
It's okay. Can I say the magic words?
you can say the magic words.
That's never happened before.
Yeah, I'll have to debug what's going on with my controller after this run. But luckily, it's not cost us anything too bad just yet. Alrighty. So that is one of the miscellaneous charms that we pick up. You'll notice here that essentially we're just going to go out of our way a couple of times for some charms. Right now, we're going to go and pick up all of the shop charms from Sly, which is in Dirtmouth. Unfortunately, we have to return to Dirtmouth in a minute to fight Grim, but we're not doing it yet. And the reason for that is we want to get all of the possible charm notches before then. Also, I need to absolutely make sure I don't buy a lantern here.
Don't buy lantern. Someone one time bought lantern at the end of their all charm notches run, and since lantern costs 2,000 geo and we've already gotten all of the relics we're gonna get, it ends the run prematurely. Don't be like that someone who I will not name. It's me.
Yeah, you really want to avoid buying lantern there. One of the few run killers left in the run, honestly. That one will absolutely break your run. There's really no coming back without, 30 minutes of geo grinding, basically. Not quite.
But now it's time for the best C-dash in the game.
Yes, this is so satisfying. You start a C-dash over here, then we go through all of this screen entirely, and then we finally end the C-dash halfway through this screen. It is so satisfying, and this is the only category to my knowledge that gets to do it. Oops.
Yeah, most other times you're trying to go backwards through that segment of Crossroads. You've infected the Crossroads, which is something that matters if you're going to try and beat the game or some nerdy thing like that.
Yep, but luckily we don't infect the Crossroads at all here. All we need is the charm notches, and turns out you don't need any dreamers or even wings for that. The things which infect Crossroads here. Alrighty.
So this is our final shopkeeper, Leg Eater. He sells the fragile charms, just 3 quick charms. Fun fact, bit of trivia, if you're wearing the Defender's Crest charm, another charm we didn't get to see this run, he gives you those for a discount, which used to be in a very early geo route for this, and now, because time is a flat circle, in a newly proposed route, that discount actually does matter. But we'll see where the future of this category goes, because we're never done rerouting, never done optimizing the memes.
Yeah, never done. This category has been rerouted probably a dozen times at least. That's probably a conservative estimate, honestly.
Yeah, and most of it was about, as Matt said, there are like probably 5 or 6 like ancillary charms that aren't either right next to the Grim Quest or directly at our feet, and some arguments about what those 6 charms should be have basically dominated the routing history of this category. Justice for Mantis Lords.
Yeah, very early version of this route featured an early Mantis Lords fight, which Quack on the mic here was very fond of. I decided that it would be faster to do the Joni's Dark Room instead of fighting the early Mantis Lords, and that was a year ago. Quack has still not forgiven me, and understandably
Still not over it. Speaking of things I'm not over, it's time to go to Salubra. This is our final shopping of the run. It was a bit of a meme when this used to be the final split of the run to have 2 separate splits, one for the final Salubra charm and one for the final Salubra notch to end the run. The notches take about 8 seconds to buy in total, so it's a very mini short split, but with the reroute that split has been deleted from the history books and I'm still not over it.
Yeah, so very funny story about that. When we created a sheet to keep track of the community's sum of best for this category. Quack put a note in that said that anyone who deletes the quick focus split, which is the split for the last charm from Salubra, will be cursed with bad Baldur RNG, not so bad as to be remarkable, but just bad enough to ruin your runs. Well, of course I didn't believe that, and I went ahead and deleted the split. Just a couple of runs later, on a run that would end up being just shy of my PB pace, I managed to collect a total of 14 Baldur spits. As a reminder, this is a 50-50 chance on each spit, so I now fully believe that I was cursed.
The curse is real. You all have been warned.
All right, so here's the Grim fight. This is the last thing in the run. we'll see how it goes. I am overcharmed, and I really hope that this controller holds up for just about 2 more minutes.
Yeah, we're on our way. So, Grim is basically a phenomenal math problem. He balloons, goes into a balloon attack every quarter of his health, where he's immune to nail hits but can still be damaged and can in fact be double hit by spells. So you're basically trying to pile on enough damage versus collect enough soul to optimally kill him in his last balloon phase. And the math for that is based on how likely he is to stagger, how many Shade Soul doubles you get. It's like a very complicated flowchart that I don't think anyone has ever actually put on paper. But this looks to be a pretty okay fight so far. What you really don't want to see is a stagger before the first phase, or before the first balloon.
So I can't reliably stall in the air because there's like sometimes a bit of a delay between when my fireball's coming out. So I decided to just heal there so we don't die, but we'll see.
Oh, nice stagger. So that's probably a refuel. Yeah.
Yeah, and I should get a balloon here. Oh, I did, but I wasn't quick enough. Ah, damn it. Second fireball didn't come out. That's okay.
Should still be making quick work of this.
Oh no. Okay, that was one. There we go.
There
okay.
it is.
I have to press this button so hard. Okay, that is the end of the run though. Time will be coming in about 20 seconds here. We need to just collect the Grim Notch here. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this run. I hope you guys enjoyed this Grim music. This is definitely one of my favorite fights in the game, honestly, with this loadout. It's really fun to kind of keep track of exactly how much damage you're doing and when he's going to balloon. Alrighty. And that's time.
Nice. GG.
All right. Yeah, so thanks again, everybody, for watching today. This has been a lot of fun. Glad I was able to cap off day 1 of this One-and-Done-athon, this inaugural one, and this will be the last time you'll ever see me here on One-and-Done-athon. So
unless you commentate, you can come back and commentate. You just can't do another run.
Oh wait, so I can run?
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah.
That would be taking out too wide a swath of people at once. So you can do it. You can.
All right, then mark my words. This is not the last Hollow Knight meme that you have seen here.
So you say that immediately before you're going to show the whiteboard with the goodbye forever. So now it feels a little disingenuous. So
Well, I mean, yeah.
no, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, thank you. So we'll post the spreadsheet one more time in chat probably for anybody who wants to get into the real meme categories of Hollow Knight.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Thank you so much
out.
for doing that.
Yes, yeah. Thank you for posting that, and also for having us on here. I will say, if you all are interested in Hollow Knight as a game and you don't want to stop playing it, check it out as a speed game. This is my first speed game. There's a lot of resources. Head to the speedrun.com/Hollow Knight and look for the Discord in the sidebar, and you'll be able to join the speedrunning Discord. It is a great community with lots of resources, lots of great members like Quack here, and yeah, highly recommend.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the end of day 1. Really, thank you everybody for coming and watching this. It does mean a lot. This is a pitch that I put together like 3 years ago, and I've just been refining it, and eventually pitched it to GDQ, and they accepted it. So I'm so honored that they let me come to the studio and to put this marathon on, and to get so many cool runs for it. And there's really not that much else to say for it. I guess we'll finish off day 1 with the goodbye forever, Mathulu.
Goodbye.
Wipe that clean.
Goodbye.
And I hope everybody comes back tomorrow for day 2. We kind of scheduled the 2 days a little bit differently. So today was more of like quirky, indie, platformers type stuff. Tomorrow was a lot more gritty. We've got like Devil May Cry 4, we've got Blade 2, we've got a light gun speedrun, which I'm actually really excited to see. Like in the vein of like Time Crisis, things like that. And just, a whole bunch of things. I'm really excited for it. I hope you are too. And with that, we'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hope you all get some sleep, because I know I will.